Alright, welcome back. Hope everyone's enjoying their night, enjoying your day wherever you're from. And as you can see, we're still ongoing with the Trony banner. You know, nothing too crazy. We're still just going through Union Raid and all that. And I think uh, co-op should probably be finished by the time this uploads. So hopefully you got your co-op runs in. That being said, though, in regards to Trony, we actually got her new tier list consensus for both JP and Pridewin. And if you're not aware, well, this usually happens like maybe like 4 to 5 days after each banner release, where the tier lists get updated after people do a bunch of testing and we get a good idea of where they are in the meta. You know, this doesn't really factor in waifu, just in terms of utility and how good they are in the game for both PvP, PvE, you know how it is. And this time we're gonna go check on Trony. And last time we did testing, I said that she, like, I doubt it, but maybe she'll be getting S, and she'll probably just be sitting around A tier. That was my guess. That's my guess right now. So I'm gonna put it on screen, and as you can see, we're over here. We're just looking at all this. We have the tier list up for Pridewin. They actually made a few changes that I wanted to talk about too real quick. Is that the bunnies actually went down. They're not as huge meta as the schoolgirls are right now. Especially because of the introduction of Crown. She is crazy, and I think they improved Scarlet Black. In my opinion, I feel like she was always a queen, so I still think that she should be up here, in my opinion. I think she's really good, and I feel like a lot of people don't give her enough credit, but it is what it is. That being said, despite that, we're only here for our feet gal, so let's see. She is a burst 3, so obviously she's not in the SS or SS category, so let's look down and let's see how far we have to go. What are you guys thinking? I wouldn't be surprised if she might be A or B. Oh, she is not an S. She's not A tier. Oh, how bad is she? Oh, she is C tier. Oh wait, no, but this is for high deficit, so this is for campaign, so it makes sense that she's C tier. Because remember when we were going over her kit, she's supposed to be more focused towards bosses because of her damage accumulation. It'll go away if she fights ads, so it makes sense that she's really bad in campaign. And let's go look at the consensus. So low and high, she's C across the board, and she's B for ads and B for bosses, and C tier in PvP. I see. Damn. I thought she was at least going to be maybe A tier, but B tier. I mean, it kind of makes sense because there's not a lot of supports that can help increase the amount of damage she provides. So we'll see down the line if if they're gonna pump out some Nikkes to help Trony out in terms of her kit, but we'll see. And then for the pros and cons, attack overload gear scales well with Trony. Unique damage multiplier, which is cool. And then yup, can compete for a spot in solo raids against fire weak bosses. And the only other two positives is her interesting shooting pose and wallpaper, and then feet. There's not a lot of good to talk about with her, which is kind of accurate. Unfortunately, her kit's not manual intensive, especially for ads. Wait, I talked about that last time as well. Debuff can only be plugged one enemy at a time. Yep. Lacks consistent attack buff to pair with her constant skill 1 activation. Yeah. I kind of noticed that too when we were testing. Requires invested burst skill. And it's like hard to justify investing in Trony, especially with there's so many other characters that you'd rather invest in. And yeah, like they say, it's not cost effective, and we have too many fire DPS. There's a lot of other DPS you can use that are in the fire category. Seriously. You have Drake, you have Modernia, you have Alice, you have really good picks other than Trony over here, and it's unfortunate that this is her consensus, but it honestly makes sense. Like, I'm sorry if Trony's like your waifu and stuff, but she is, I believe, on the same wavelength as, like, where is Aid? Because Aid is also just not that great. She was just not up to snuff. Yep, here it is. So funny enough, I think Aid's arguably better just because at least she's a B tier in high deficit. So Aid is technically better. Aid is technically better than Trony, which is crazy that they butchered her like that. Like, damn, dude. I don't get what Shift Up's game is when it comes to these type of kits. Like, if they're trying to make something for the future. Because, like, as is with Mast, she's not great, but if you put her in a team with 2B and Guillotine, she's awesome. So, I don't know what they're doing with some of these characters. Like, seriously, some of these characters need reworks. Milk needs a rework. Mary needs a rework. Nobody talks about this version of Mary. Summer Mary is the only good version of her in terms of a kit. And it's unfortunate. And Aria, nobody fucking talks about Aria. Like, unfortunate. And real quick, since we already seen how Trony's consensus looks, let's hop over to the JP tier list. So give me 1 second. Alright, and we're back here. And as you can see, this is obviously translated from English because this is all in Japanese. So this is just Google Translate. So if anything's messed up, you know, apologies, but this is just Google Translate. And I wanted to give a heads up that JP tier list is very different compared to our normal tier list. Because as you can see, Trony over here has an S rank with 8.2 points to grade. And that sounds good in terms of JP, but okay, let me, you know, let's go look at how they have this system. So they have SSS, which is like the huge, crazy, like units like Modernia, like insane. And then the second best, and then here we go, we got like cream of the crop. Like, they don't even consider like the schoolgirls to be like SSS, which I disagree with. And some of this list I can't really agree with. That doesn't make sense to me because they pretty much try to categorize all the Nikkes as a whole into each category. So like overall usage will be averaged out in this this grading scale. So that's why it's kind of a struggle, and I feel like there's not enough ranks here because it goes from SSS, SS, S+, S, A+, and then A. A being the worst of the worst. And I'm sorry, but like, I don't understand how this works. Like, how can you put, like, I don't know. I just don't. Like, for S tier, how are you gonna put someone like Mast or Nihilister in the same category as Marciana or Rupee or even Senti? Like, I understand there's like all different reasons for the average out category, but it doesn't make sense to me. And it doesn't make sense to me that Trony's in the same burst 3 category of S tier as Haran or Drake or Sugar or Laplace. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. And I usually don't care for the JP tier list. I just like to talk about it. But I don't really understand it, me personally. It doesn't make any sense to me. Because, like, despite the evaluation and stuff, I don't get it. Like, obviously, worst reroll. Arena is just not great, so obviously the A+. I don't agree with this. I think she's pretty worse than this, and the other character that are associated with her in that position are way, way better than her. So I don't understand why they decide to group it like this, but that's how they do it. And honestly, that's all I have to talk about. I really just wanted to talk about her consensus, her tier list. What do you think of the ranking? Do you think it's justified? Do you think there'll be future Nikkes to help improve her, kind of like they did with Privity Maid with Leona and Tuve? Do you think they're working on a new type of meta? Before they were trying to work on a shotgun meta, and now do you think they're working on this distributed damage meta? What do you think? I'm not surprised by her ranking. I think it's kind of unfortunate, but it kind of makes sense that they wouldn't want to throw another Nikke that's really good, but at the same time, all Nikkes don't have to be meta. They don't have to be great. They don't have to be like super good. They just have to be good enough. Good enough to be able to use in, you know, campaign, PvE stuff, how I want to. Like, if I want to use like a fun team, I want to be able to use them and not feel screwed over because the kit's way too unjustifiable to have in my roster, right? But that's me personally. I wonder when we're going to get the next info. We'll probably get the next info around next week for the next banner. In terms of new character, new story, and stuff like that. For now, we'll probably just get into hard mode leading into next week. So, with all that being said, I hope you guys have a lovely night, a lovely day, wherever you're from. And once again, thank you all for the lovely support you've given me. I appreciate it a lot. Goodbye.